How's it going, guys? This is Aviel Leos from the Children's Court coming to you live from Michigan Troll Studios. So I wanted to do a reply video to my failed debate with Tommy Sotomayor, and I wasn't going to do this because for one, I know he's emotional and he gets offended very fast, and I'm entertained by what he does. So I don't want to stir the pot too much, but at the same time, this is the second time I've been hung up on without being able to make my full points by a YouTuber in 1 week. It's also happened with Yvette Carnell, another person who wasn't able to debate her point, so she, rage quit. So I decided that moving forward, I'm going to use my own platform, because just like they get to use me for to generate viewership and streams, in the totality, the viewers are the people they use to generate more revenue. So I'm going to start using them also to try and create a platform for myself. I wasn't able, inside the conversation with Tommy Sotomayor, to reply to anything he got to say, but he got to hang up on me and continue to bash me and talk about how stupid I was and things of that nature. So I want to give you guys the premise of this conversation. Tommy Sotomayor did a show asking for his viewers that had issues with him to call up and state their issues so they can have a discussion. For about half the time, which was maybe an hour or so, the people that were calling the show were calling up, kissing his ass, telling him how much they love him and everything, before they stated little small issues that he could laugh at. And it was so bad that he had got to the point where he had to start saying, listen, I don't want you to call up here and kiss my ass. I want you to call up here and have a problem with me, have an issue with me that you'd like to discuss. So and the reason for that, the reason everybody does that, is because they're mentally trained by him and his mods to agree or get out. You know what I'm saying? So generally, it's the reason why I've never called into a show before or donated to a show before, because you don't get to have any opinion when you're there. He'll tell you you do, but as soon as you say something he doesn't like, he's gonna start talking shit about you and going into a frenzy. So let me get into the reason. Tommy Sotomayor did a video called along the lines of saying, this is the reason why I won't be on InfoWars anymore, the Alex Jones channel, the Alex Jones radio show. And he was never actually on Alex Jones's show. He was on news. He was on The War Room with Owen Schroyer, one of another reporter from InfoWars. But allegedly, InfoWars had come into some information about Tommy Sotomayor bad-mouthing Alex Jones in the past. I don't know if there's anything present. He wouldn't be straight up with me about what he said about Alex Jones, but I've heard that he said Alex Jones was crazy, he was a nut job, and a conspiracy theorist, things of all that, things of that nature, and an agent. So I'm not going to say any of that's concrete. I'm going to say those things are alleged, but the point is, InfoWars, whatever he was saying, InfoWars reached out to him because they have a rapport. They reached out to him and expressed their disappointment in his views, and basically said, we'd like you to educate yourself on the history of everything that you've been talking about, because apparently or obviously he was talking about something that they didn't agree with. They said, we're going to discontinue you being on our show, and we hope that you'll educate yourself on these matters and retract your statement. So that's the basics of it. Oh, and they also the person who wrote him, questioned why he would ever even come on the show anyway if he felt the way he felt. So that's the premise of his video, is responding to that. Now, his response was very it was very ignorant. It was very shallow minded, and just what's the word I'm looking for? Proud. Tommy Sotomayor basically said that I'm not going to retract nothing I say. I have an opinion, and nobody's going to tell me what to do. He sounded just like one of the hair-hatted hooligans he talks about. You know what I'm saying? Listen, again, like I said before, I am entertained by his videos. So I'm not here to bash Tommy Sotomayor generally. I'm here to be surgical about this video that he made that led to the confrontation between me and him on his show. So basically he says, yeah, I'm not gonna back down from them. The white man don't want a black man to have an opinion. I'm sitting here like, are you serious? I mean, this is, you clown dudes, black dudes, every day for talking about what the white man do, and now when InfoWars is reaching out to you, asking you to do more information about what you're talking about because it's offensive to them, and that they are going to discontinue from you being on the show because you are allegedly bashing their boss, you, instead of being a logical man, you said you're the king of logic or something like that, instead of being a logical person, you turn into a proud man who's not going to retract anything you say, and the white man ain't going to keep you down, and the white man don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You got to be a slave for the white man. That's ridiculous. So that's where this all stems from. So I don't want to focus on that, because you can go and watch that video yourself. It's one of his more recent videos. It's totally hypocritical of himself to be, you know, speaking on Alex Jones in any matter, being that Alex Jones is literally like a white political version of Tommy Sotomayor. It's a joke for Tommy Sotomayor to have an opinion on him in a negative view, but that doesn't matter to Tommy Sotomayor. The only thing matters is what he says in the time that he's saying it, because you can see him contradict himself in a lot of videos. But let's move on to the confrontation between me and him. I call it a confrontation because it wasn't any type of intelligent debate. So back to the next video where he's asking people to call in. So, you know, I'm on the line. People are all, I love you, Tommy, but why can't you just let the birds be free a little bit? Why can't you let the dog go out to, you know, run through the grass? And I'm adding a little bit of sauce to it, but generally that's what the calls were. I love you, Tommy, and, you know, please don't be too mean to me. That's generally what the calls were. So I call, finally get through, and I asked Tommy Sotomayor to tell me where his logic inside his response to InfoWars, to the email InfoWars gave to him, was. His response was, I don't care. His response, after begging his viewers to call up with a real issue, after begging his viewers to call up with an issue that they had with him to have a discussion about for 2 hours, maybe, no, not 2 hours, it was probably just over an hour, let me not be dramatic. After asking them to call up for about an hour and a half or so with a real issue, because he got sick of everybody kissing his ass, because he's created a hive mind over there, just like Yvette Carnell has, that won't dare say anything against him, or face blocking and you know, degrading without being able to defend yourself. I finally get through and I ask him to bring logic to the way he handled that InfoWars video, and bring logic to being just proud in a situation where a company you had rapport with reached out to you and asked you for clarification, and of course took you off their even he admitted that he would take somebody off his platform if he saw them bad-mouthing him, and you know, he probably wouldn't ask for any clarification. They were just basically saying, please do some research, hopefully you'll retract your statement, and of course business would have went on as usual. But my question was, why didn't you just take that approach instead of being proud and also making a point of him being a hypocrite? And that really ticked him off, because I was saying, why would you fix your lips to call Alex Jones an agent and while he's being banned by the whole Silicon Valley? And I know you said you made the comments before he was banned and blacklisted, but why wouldn't you understand that you need to retract that statement? Because if you know you're wrong and they're saying, hey, we saw this, could you add, you know, could you, they didn't say can you retract your statement, they were basically saying we're going to discontinue with you, and we were wondering why you ever even came on if you felt like this. I mean, this is a legitimate grievance, and this is what I was trying to get across to Tommy Sotomayor, but his response was, I don't give a F. I don't care. They don't pay me. Them white MFers ain't gonna make me no. He went back to nigga mode like that. Now, if it was him, because this is the point that I'm trying to make. The logic was, Tommy Sotomayor's logic failed him in the face of a real question. The people who call his radio show, he likes to call it, are idiots. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that they're mentally idiots. I mean that they've been trained by him. They understand calling him that they need to bow down to him to a certain extent. You're not going to call up there and be a man, you know what I'm saying, unless he still feels good. You know what I'm saying? If you want to take a conversation in a direction that you want to take a conversation in as a man, and it makes him uncomfortable, you can't be a man anymore. It's back to being, oh, that's why I hate these niggas. These niggas always effing with me. I don't know why these dudes effing with me. That's what happened essentially, because he couldn't bring logic to what he did. It was a very proud move that he made dealing with InfoWars, and the fact that he begged people to call up there with an issue to discuss, and I brought one up to him, and the first thing he said was, I don't care, and the only thing that he could get out of his mouth was, I don't care, they don't pay me, I don't know Owen Schroyer, I wanted to go on Alex Jones, but the truth is, Alex Jones probably doesn't know you without Owen Schroyer telling him about you, if he has told him about you. Alex Jones is a national syndicated radio show. His presence was on YouTube. His presence was on Periscope. He was everywhere. He was on YouTube, and you had the nerve you got the nerve to believe that you're Alex Jones level? No, no. Alex Jones doesn't know who you are without Owen Schroyer knowing who you are. You're probably as big as Owen Schroyer. I'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? Owen Schroyer is not a nobody. He's to you, maybe because you're making the shows every day, but Owen Schroyer is just as known as you are. You're not some internationally known character. Tommy Sotomayor, you're a regular man. You gained a pretty decent following on YouTube through, you know, talking about the issues that happen inside the black community, and, you know, largely being with black women and putting a mirror up to their faces and making them look at themselves. Now, on that side of what you do, like I said, you entertain me. And that's what I go to your channel for. I don't necessarily go to your channel to actually be a part of anything, because I'm just there to be entertained. You're a great comedian, and you make you make a really good comedy out of the situations dealing with you know, just people in general, but largely black women. And I have no issue with it. But on that point, dealing with Alex Jones, it showed how illogical you really are. It showed how much of a nigga you really are. And listen, this video is not intended, and I know Tommy's, like I said, he's over emotional. If he finds out about this video, he'll probably do 2 hours on it, which is fine, because I'm trying to grow my actual YouTube presence also. And I would like for him to actually get back to the conversation we were having, even if he's only going to do it on his terms. He's obviously not going to do it with me being present, because then he'd have to answer my follow-up questions, and I think that's why he ultimately hung up on me, because he couldn't even begin to bring logic to what he did. So all he did was say, it's the white man don't want to, a white man ain't going to tell me what to do, he's not paying me. He said, I don't even know, I'm going to show you, I don't give a F about that show. That's not what the conversation was about. The conversation was about how you handled that email on the video that you reacted to with it. You were rude, you were unprofessional. These are all things that you would dismantle. Just another black person that you came across on YouTube, you would dismantle them for being so unprofessional and so niggerish. And I think you exposed that inside the Alex Jones video, that I think that you're a cult leader of sorts, and that you won't tolerate anything that you don't like. And that's not the case for everybody. Like I always say on the Star Report when I go on, the Star Report is the only real place for debate and forum on YouTube via phone calls, because Star is the only person that won't hang up on you because he disagrees with you, whether it's largely disagreement or a small one. And people on that show really get to swing swords and collide with each other on there, and Star is one of those people, and I commend him for that, because he could be a church priest like the rest of you, like you and Yvette Carnell, but he doesn't. He gives us a platform to discuss real topics, and you're on your own when you get in there. And I'll even go a step further and say he'll jump in. If you're really beating somebody's ass, he'll jump in and challenge you with his own question. Without jumping on that person's side, he'll up the ante and make you exercise your brain and come over here with a different point of view, and have to answer that question with, you know, logic and intelligence. So that's a real platform for debate. I would suggest that you don't bring people on there to debate you, because once somebody actually brings a real issue to you and it offends you, you're going to act the same way you acted with me. And I've seen you do it before, but you're going to react the same way. I mean, understand it inside yourself so you don't waste your own time. You're going to get angry, you're going to start talking over people, and you're going to eventually hang up on them. If that's the way you're going to run your business or your call line when you are trying to act like you want to have some kind of intellectual conversation, it's not going to work. You might as well just preach to the choir like you've been doing. And that's, you know, again, I just wanted to make a reply video, because these YouTubers get to use us to generate content, and then when they're finished with you, they get to just press end call and then drag you, and you don't get to have a voice for yourself after that. So I decided when I go on these platforms, with the exception of Star, because you get to be fully heard on that show and you get to get your full point across. So if you lose, you just lose in front of everybody who's there. But on these other platforms, they just hang up on you and then continue to talk about you and dismantle everything you said because you're not there. And they don't necessarily dismantle it, but they just keep on hitting it, and they think that they've got the upper hand because you're not there to defend yourself anymore. And I just think I think that his response to me was a joke. I think he's a hypocrite for any black person that he ever talks about. But again, like I said, he admitted it himself that he is a hypocrite. He admitted that he is probably the same as everybody else regarding the way he controls his YouTube channel, or his business in this case, because InfoWars is a business. His channel is his business. He reacted like a basic nigga, and I'm disappointed in him, because I was actually hoping that he would try at least. I knew he couldn't bring logic to it, because everything he said in that video goes against who he is as a person, but he was proud. So he just didn't. He wrote his whole sense of logic, his whole business of logic. He wrote it off so that he could dissent on the issue with InfoWars as a company. So I don't want to make this video, last forever. It's kind of messy. I'm kind of everywhere because I kind of just decided to do it on a whim. I wasn't going to do it. And again, I'm entertained by Tommy Sotomayor, guys. I don't have any real issue with him. Like I said, he's probably going to see this and do a 2-hour video on it, stopping every 2 sentences. And he probably won't, because he can't bring any logic to what he said to me or his video on InfoWars. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Subscribe. I don't say that a lot, but I'm still getting off the ground. I think I got like 60 subscribers. I started like 3 months ago. Subscribe, like the content. I'm going to be back uploading more actively than I have been in the last couple of months, for the people who are already subscribed, if you're wondering where I went. And we're going to get back into, movie reviews, TV show reviews, current topics, and politics. And hopefully not too many more of these replies to YouTubers who are hanging up on me. Maybe this will catch fire and people will understand that they need to let Aviel Leos finish his thought before they hang up the phone. Just because they're mad is not necessarily a good enough reason to end the call. Alright? So get in the comments, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.